Hi, good afternoon. This is Jerry.
And David.
And we have a question.
The question is, what are some natural remedies for hot flashes for women?
Hot flashes are generally created by an endocrine balance, hormone balances in the body as women are post or full-blown menopause. And it's just the body reeling back and forth trying to find an equilibrium because the body is shutting down from the ability to reproduce. And a lot of medical doctors will begin to prescribe all kinds of hormone replacements and various materials like that. Why do you have hot flashes? It's actually fairly simple. People had thought for years that menopause was based on some kind of clock you have in your body that triggers it. Oh, my mother had menopause at 35, I'm going to have menopause at 35. There's no genetic markers for that. There's no genetic triggers for that. It turns out that research has proven that menopause is generated by the death of mitochondria, or the lack of or destruction of your mitochondria. Now, for those that never heard of mitochondria, that's the material that's inside of every living cell that extracts the energy from the food we eat and produces a chemical called
adenosine triphosphate?
Yes, ATP?
ATP, yeah.
ATP. ATP is a chemical that our cells cannot live without. Mitochondria does not share our DNA. It's a separate material that lives inside of our cells. We're symbiotic creatures. We have more gut bacteria in our gut than we have cells in our body. So we have this wonderful dance between the bacterial world and the animal world, or the mammalian world, where what we exist in. And we can't live without the bacteria. Bacteria can perfectly live without us, but mitochondria cannot. Mitochondria only sets up shop inside of our cells, and we pass it on through the females, through the female egg. It's given to the males and the females of our species, yet only the females are able to pass it on to the next generation. So, when you begin to age, aging most of the time is going to be the result of mutilation or death of mitochondria. Why would that happen? Well, maybe you're a smoker, maybe you drink too much, maybe you just stay up too late and run your body down. Anything you do to stress the body will reduce the amount of mitochondria. There is the same kind of symptoms of menopause in young girls who are not having menses when they're training for intense athletics, for example, for the Olympics or whatever. The body puts all the energy into the musculature of the body and reserves nothing for reproduction. So that part just slows down until they just stop pressing their bodies so hard. Then they begin to recover that. The same is if a woman is walking across the deserts of Africa or anywhere in the world and she's starving, she's going to lose her ability to reproduce. And the body's just going to say, okay, we're going to reserve all of our energy to stay alive. You don't need to be reproducing in order to stay alive. So what's that got to do with the healthy American woman of 40? Okay, we live with something called the SAD diet. Standard American diet. Okay, it's sad because we eat the wrong things all of our lives. We drink all this stuff. We don't read the labels, and our mitochondria suffers. So a lot of women began to go into perimenopause or full-blown menopause in the early 40s, which is unfortunate. I have a particular client who was fertile until 59 years old without any problem at all, and then all of a sudden they switched off completely. Never hot flash, never cramps, never all the major problems that you would have if you just went through the agony of it taking a long time. What they did was they supplemented their mitochondria with supplementations, and eventually the body says, okay, I'm done. And that was it. This woman never had a single hot flash. Other women who have done this found that that's also the case. No hot flashes. So if you want to avoid hot flashes, start doing something about your mitochondria. A good product would be Time Challenger Mitochondrial Support. And that you can look up that. That's an excellent support for the health of your mitochondria. And we view that not as medical information. This is all nutrition. It's nutritional advice. You know, go eat something, in this case, a really good supplement that takes care of your mitochondria. It's not a drug, it's food. It's food that we used to have on this planet until all of our soils became depleted and our animals eat garbage. They don't, the food animals we have eat really poorly, and so we're hitting all sides. Oh, we have big, beautiful greens. Okay, do you realize that all this beautiful stuff that we see in the store has been grown on depleted soils, and it's fed with chemical fertilizers, and it just, phrase in Texas, it's all cowboy, it's all hat and no cowboy. It's nothing to it. It's just, you grow your own garden or pay the extra money for organics, because you got to feed your body properly. And if you do that and you supplement for mitochondria and the health and support of that, you will notice hot flashes go away. Get yourself a Reams test. That's to determine what your pH balance is. And that's not a blood test. That's something else. So find a naturopathic doctor to do a Reams test. Why is that important? Because if you're too alkaline or too acidic, there's a whole number of nutrients that are excluded from absorption. It's not what you put in your mouth, it's what is absorbed by your body. You could be absolutely religious about taking all of this wonderful kinds of supplements, but if you're too alkaline or too acidic, most of that will not be recognized by your body and will just go out of your body unused. It's like putting a plumber in charge of laying bricks. Now, the plumber will figure out there are certain ways to do that, but he's not going to get the wall to look really, really good. And if you are treating your body like putting the plumber in charge, the body's not going to know what to do with a lot of the nutrients. So what you need to do is get a Reams test, find out where you are on the pH scale of what is it? It's saliva and urine, and you get that tested, and it can't be done sending in a sample. You have to sit down in the office and you have to go through and work with the naturopath right then and there. But you will get information that is super critical to being able to absorb the materials. Now, that will make a big difference on getting rid of the problems with menopause. So until next time, this is Jerry.
And David.
And we look forward to this kind of information being available to you, because there's very few places you're going to hear this kind of comment. And I'm very excited that Dave has found so much information to bring to us that you have said you wanted to know. So if you like this, hit the like button. Check out the links right up here, I think. And really look into hitting subscribe so you know when we're going to be doing more. We generally do about 2 videos a day. And there are going to be a lot of videos out there to answer your questions. Until the next time,
David,
Jerry,
be well.
Wishing you well.